Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking a look at this little mini quadcopter. This is the X13 Explorer by Meng Toys. I've never heard of that brand, so I'm thinking that they must be new. It comes in blue, as you see here, and I think it also comes in black and white. So I went with the blue color. I like a little color to my quadcopters when possible. It comes with the prop guards pre-installed. I did not put those on, but you can see there's a Phillips screwdriver, a Phillips screw I should say, spot on each one of these. So you can easily take these off and increase the flight time. I'm not a big fan of prop guards, but I like to fly things as they come. And since I'm going to be flying this in my garage today, because it's like 35-mile-per-hour winds outside, I'm not going to be able to fly this outside. In fact, no toy grade outside in that kind of wind. I'll leave them on, especially for that reason. Just so that they're protected in case I would bump into my wall. The quadcopter has a battery bay here in the bottom. You have to kind of pull this little tab outwards and then it pops open. It uses a micro low-C connector. The included battery is a 1S LiPo with, of course, the micro low-C connector that fits in here and they connect together. What's kind of funny is it says 3.7 volt 800 milliamp hour. There's no way this little bitty battery is 800 milliamp hour. I checked on the HobbyinRC's website, who sent me this, and it says 220 milliamp hour, and that sounds right. That would be what this is. So it's just a misprint on there. If it's 800 milliamp hour, you get an insane flying time. It'd be cool, but the battery would be a lot bigger than that. So it obviously isn't that that high a capacity. Let's go ahead and plug it in so I can show you the LEDs. LEDs are a little bit unusual. There's no LEDs in the arms. I'll go ahead and turn it on. Has, like I said, a little on and off switch here in the back, which I like an on and off switch so you don't have to worry about plugging it in and having it power up immediately. It has these red LEDs on the front of the board and green in the back, so you can't see it for orientation. It's just they're just kind of in the body, not on the arm, so it's a little bit harder to see. I've not really seen that done before, but it's not a big deal to me because I was still able to see them, but I would have preferred to have seen them on the arms. So it's a little bit unusual. You're seeing them through these fake little air vents because the quadcopter is supposed to still be sort of in the DJI Phantom style look with those little fake cooling vents that they put on it. So go ahead and turn it off here and unplug the LiPo. The LiPo takes about 40 minutes to charge up using the included USB to micro low-C charger. The light will go out when it's finished. So about 40-45 minutes, that's not too bad. The flight time that I'm getting out of this is just shy of 6 minutes. I got about 5 minutes and 53 seconds before it landed itself. It just lost enough power that it came down. I had about a 30-second of that flight time was the LVC, and that's when the lights on the inside will flash like you saw there because it was not bound up. It just comes with two spare propellers, an A and a B. If you fly it with the prop guards on, then you're not going to have to worry about probably replacing propellers, but it's nice that they included two, though I always would prefer them to include four because, they're so inexpensive. But the whole quadcopter itself is like $18 ship free, so it's not like the quadcopter's real expensive, so I guess, somebody figured that, to keep the price down, including two less propellers is going to make a big difference. I don't know. It's kind of odd. The controller is one of these more looks like kind of like a peanut style. It's they call them it's rather small. Takes 3 AAA. So excuse me, let me double check that. Yeah, 3 AAA batteries in the back. It kind of looked for a second. I think, oh wait, is this an infrared? It kind of looked like those, but it's not. It's 2.4 gigahertz, so it's not an infrared one, which would work on line of sight. I hate those. You see those a lot of times in little helicopters. No altitude hold, as you can see, so this is ideal for a beginner to learn how to fully fly without getting reliant on altitude hold. Of course, it's going to be more difficult, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let me get my instructions over here so I make sure that I get the buttons down straight on it. The top here is your 3 rates, a low, medium, high. The yaw does increase. Now the highest rate it has that crazy yaw where it just spins like a top. We're seeing that more and more in these drones. It does look cool, but of course, if you're a beginner, you're going to lose orientation super quick flying that way. So I will demonstrate it. You just have to let off, you know, and keep it close when you're doing it, and to locate the lights, and then you know which way you're facing. But I would not advise flying in the highest rate if you're not experienced for that reason, but it is cool to kind of watch it spin like that. The top right is your 3D flips, and it flips really nicely in the directions you want to flip. You got your pitch and your roll trim here. On the left here, this would be a camera control and a video control if they ever included a camera on one of these. As far as I know, they don't have a camera version. And this is, let me see here, this is your headless mode here, and this is your 1-key return. So it does include that, which is nice, because some people do like headless mode and 1-key return. To calibrate the gyros, you just go down and to the right until the lights stop flashing if you need to reset the gyro, if it flies funny or not. So that covers the controller, the quadcopter. Let me just check my notes over here real quickly to make sure there's nothing else that I forgot. I think we got the flight time, and we got the how long to charge, and I said the battery. Even though it's misprinted, at least on mine, it's 220 milliamp 20C. And it says here that it's 615 size brushed motors. It's a brushed motor size. So, all right, well, I think that covers everything. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this out of my garage and fly it around and demonstrate this guy, because he's lightweight and he's relatively easy to fly, and I think it'd be really good for a beginner because you're not going to spend very much, like I said, under $20, so you really can't go wrong at that price range, consider that it does fly pretty good. So let's go ahead and move along now to the flight review. Alright guys, so I've got the X13 Explorer here. I can get the prop guards off my fingers out in my garage. At times the wind is just nuts outside because it's like 70 degrees in December, so that's not unusual. So there's just no way I can fly this outside. I've got my garage door down a little bit to try to reduce the wind, but hopefully it'll be enough light in here to see. There's no way I can fly this outside, and after today it's going to get really, really cold. So I want to do it while it's pleasant outside, so we're kind of stuck with the garage. But thankfully, this being a mini quadcopter, there is sufficient room here to fly it in my garage. So let's go ahead and we'll turn it on. Just go ahead and flip the little switch. You see the, like I said earlier, the green LEDs in the back and the red in the front. You kind of locate that by the, the hinges on the door would be the back. So that's how you know it. Go ahead and set it down here. Go ahead and turn on the controller. Go ahead and do the binding. Should be bound. Let's go ahead and I'll do a gyro calibration. Let me step back on my step here. Down to the right. And it does, I like that the controller beeps to let you know it's doing a gyro calibration. That's pretty cool. That's not too common. So let's go ahead and we'll take it up and demonstrate the rates and that crazy yaw and all that. So let's go ahead and take it up. It flies nice. That's the lowest rate. I've found myself lately even getting a little bit bad with altitude hold because so much stuff has it that it makes you kind of lazy, not having to worry about keeping your altitude. There's the yaw. See, it's kind of slow. Let's go ahead and go up to the middle rate. And there the yaw is better. You can kind of do funnels, so they're kind of not too bad. And here is the highest rate. I'll show you that now. There's the crazy yaw. See here in the garage, no hands on it. I have it trimmed up already. So, I located the green. I knew I was facing away from me, so it was simple enough. So, get a little too much throttle. There's the back, bring it back. So it's not too bad, and of course, funnels are just almost like a tornado. I'm going to take it back to the middle rate just so that I don't lose orientation when doing flips. So let's do some 360 flips. Bring it down so I don't hit the ceiling. Very nice. That's what you want to see in something of this size, that it's going to flip really, really well. Flip it forward, flip it backwards. Just a really nice little quadcopter. I don't have any complaints at all with this. You know, I don't mind the crazy yaw because you don't have to fly with the crazy yaw. But it's a nice little novelty feature, I guess you could say, if you want to use it for that. I'm not going to mess with headless mode, especially being in here. I'm not a big fan of it anyway. But I'm not going to lose my orientation in here. But if you're someone a beginner and you really just want to get it up in the air and you have no idea how to use orientation, and you certainly can use headless mode, but you want to eventually get away from that so you learn proper flight skills and orientation, so that you're not, you know, headless mode's kind of a get it up in the air gimmick, is what I'd call it. So I apologize, I can't fly it super far away from me. Like I said, there's just no way this guy can handle the wind. In fact, you couldn't fly even a SEMA X8 or a big brush one wouldn't be able to handle this wind. You need a brushless, and even a big brushless GPS drone is going to have a heck of a time fighting winds of that strength. Do another flip just because it does them so nicely. Had to kind of cut the motor there so I didn't get on top of my garage door. And you can, you know, just cut the motors completely, as you saw I did right there. I'll show you. You can just completely cut the motors. So you always got to be giving it throttle. Of course, it's not going to keep the props going, so it falls pretty quick. But it's very lightweight, so you're not going to damage it. I did not weigh it. I don't weigh too much stuff anymore at the moment, since in the US FCC, sorry, the FAA, I said the FCC. There's no longer, at the moment at least, there will probably be here soon, any kind of registration requirements that used to be 250 grams. And since that was overturned in courts, I've stopped doing it. It looks like it's going to come back in some form again. So at that point, I'll probably start weighing stuff. So something of this size is never going to, I can't see the new requirements being any different. Looks to me like just that little goofy landing, I might have even messed up my gyros. Let's see, it's kind of wanting to go to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the gyro. Let's take it back up now and see if it's, well, it could be the breeze coming in here too. I'm going to give it a little left trim. But overall, this guy flies really nice. Okay, now I'm starting to get the LVC on it. I don't know how long I've been flying. I said I got close to 6 minutes the last time. But about 30 seconds was a low voltage alarm. So you can still fly it for a while, and then once it loses power, won't be able to keep it in the air, and you're not going to damage anything. And there's gone down. So we've completely run out of power. So it doesn't have a super long flight time, but it's not terrible. I've seen worse. But for around $18, I don't think you can really go wrong with this quadcopter. And that little battery is going to be super easy to find ones. That connector, similar milliamp, maybe even a little larger, as long as you get one that can fit into this bay. So overall, this is pretty nice for a beginner or a kid. So I would have to give this a big thumbs up. I don't see any problems because it's so nicely priced, and it has, you know, it's, like I said, good for someone to learn to fly with. So I really appreciate everybody watching. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. And if you're not a subscriber, I would certainly appreciate it if you would subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.
The power of the dark side.